the Stanley Cup, the ultimate symbol of hockey greatness.
Today we ask the simple question, can a player really be called great if they've never lifted Lord Stanley's mug?
Well, the answer to that question is a definitive yes. And today, we provide the proof.
That's right. In this edition of Sportsnet Countdown, 25 examples of some of the greatest players in NHL that have never won the Stanley Cup. Welcome to Sportsnet Countdown. I'm Evanka Osmak.
And I'm Ken Reid, and today we're counting down the top 25 greatest players who never won a Stanley Cup.
There is a reason they call the Stanley Cup the toughest trophy to win in pro sports.
Yeah, you may be an awesome player, but you know what? You need a little luck, a lot of jam, and perhaps some fantastic timing to get your name on the cup.
All right, let's get started. Top 25 greatest players to never win a Stanley Cup.
Number 25, Mark Howe.
Mark on the drop pass, he scores! A devastating wrist shot.
Despite a Hall of Fame career that spanned 6 years in the WHA and 16 in the NHL, Mark Howe never lifted the Stanley Cup. He and the Flyers lost to the Oilers in the Stanley Cup final in 1985 and 1987, going all the way to a Game 7 in the rematch.
Number 24, Curtis Joseph. Joseph never made it out of the conference finals.
Unbelievable save by Joseph!
A 19-season veteran of the NHL, three-time Vezina finalist, Joseph retired a Maple Leaf in 2009, never having played in a Stanley Cup final.
Oh, he's robbed by Curtis Joseph. What a save! Holy jumping! Unbelievable play!
Number 23, Norm Allman. In 20 NHL seasons, Norm Allman led the playoffs in points twice while playing for the Red Wings and went to the Stanley Cup Finals 5 times.
In 4 of those Stanley Cup runs, he also led the league in playoff games played.
Number 22, Harry Howell. Over 17 seasons with the Rangers, Harry Howell won the Norris Trophy and made 7 trips to the playoffs, but never appeared in more than 6 games or scored more than 1 point in a playoff run. His final appearance in the NHL playoffs came with the Oakland Seals in 1970. He spent the rest of his career in the WHA.
Number 21, Bill Gadsby. Bill Gadsby played 20 seasons in the NHL across the Blackhawks, Rangers, and Red Wings, but didn't play in the final until he arrived in Detroit. During the last 4 years of his career, Detroit made the Stanley Cup final 3 times, losing to Toronto twice and Montreal once.
Number 20, the Sedin twins. Although Henrik and Daniel Sedin have both won the Art Ross Trophy, Henrik has picked up the Hart Trophy, and Daniel the Ted Lindsay Award, neither twin has seen his name engraved on the Stanley Cup.
Their sole appearance in a final, well, it ended with riots in Vancouver in 2011.
Number 19, Joe Thornton. Through 5 playoff runs with Boston and 9 with San Jose, Joe Thornton remains cupless. Thornton was chosen to play in 6 All-Star games and in his marquee season won both the Hart and Ross trophies.
Down, far side, Thornton, they score! Joe Thornton and the Sharks win the series in overtime! His biggest goal is a Shark for the captain, and it's all over.
Number 18, Eric Lindros. Eric Lindros played only 13 seasons, seeing playoff action in 6.
There it is!
His best run, that came in 1997, with Lindros leading all players that year in playoff points and goals created.
Lindros. He scores to make it 4-3 on the 2-1 break.
Number 17, Jean Rattel.
Here's Bobby Clark.
The closest Jean Rattel came to the Cup was in back-to-back final appearances in 1977 and 1978 with the Bruins.
Boston went 2-8 against Montreal during years 2 and 3 of the Canadiens' 4-year run of championships.
Number 16, Dino Ciccarelli. Dino Ciccarelli saw his Minnesota North Stars make the Stanley Cup final when he was 20 years old, and again when he was 34. But his teams, Minnesota in '81 and Detroit in 1995, won only one finals game between them, with Ciccarelli on the roster.
Yeah, it's not easy to win a cup. A guy like Dino Ciccarelli makes it all the way to the final with the North Stars early in his career, waits over a decade, eventually makes it back with the Wings, and still doesn't win the Stanley Cup.
Those are the breaks. And speaking of breaks, let's get away from the countdown for just a quick second and ask a question, well, I often ask Ken before we go to showtime. Pinstripes, brown loafers, really? What were you thinking?
Thinking it's slick, thinking it's awesome.
Not so much.
He put it over the net. Watch this. He's going to try for the old top shelf, but he shelved it all right. Remember the... Oh, baby.
Pressure from Jones. He loses his stick. And the Red Wings with speed. As a matter of fact, look where Jones's stick is. It's still tied up in mirror sack. I've seen a lot of things in this game. I'm not sure I've seen that. It's still there.
He just notices it now at this point.
Devin Seneguchi to tie this up. Carey Price can win the game. That is the most bizarre ending to a hockey game I've seen in a long, long time. The absolute worst thing about this is that there's videotape.
And the linesman putting his hands up gets Crosby right in the face.
Skating hard up. Oh, right through. Look out, Brandon Bollig just put Adam Hardy right through the glass.
Lots more to come as we continue to count down the greatest players to never win a Stanley Cup. One of the most innovative goalies of all time, the guy who perhaps invented the butterfly. He's still on the way.
Plus, a couple of guys who helped define the term power forward. They're coming up as well. We're counting down the top 25 greatest players to never win the Cup. We are back on Sportsnet Countdown, taking a look at the top 25 greatest players to never win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, some of the names on this list may kind of shock you. Take the guy at number 15, for example. He was one of the best defensemen of his generation, but believe it or not, he never won a cup.
Number 15, Brad Park. Appearing in the playoffs every season during his 17-year career and a Norris Trophy finalist 9 of those years, Park never won the Stanley Cup or the Norris Trophy.
Back to Park. Shoot, and he scores!
Park retired from the game in 1985, briefly coached the Detroit Red Wings the following year, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1988, his first year of eligibility.
Brad Park, right in. Hold, shoot, score!
Number 14, Adam Oates. In a 19-season career spanning 7 different teams, Oates saw playoff action in 15 postseasons.
Oates! He scores!
Reaching Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final in his penultimate season in the NHL. This would prove to be his final playoff appearance as Oates retired in Edmonton, finishing his career with 1,420 points. Number 13, Pavel Bure. Dubbed the Russian Rocket, Bure played 12 seasons in the NHL, but saw playoff action in only 5 of them. He led the 1994 playoffs in goals and games played as the Canucks went on to lose the final in 7 to the New York Rangers.
Bure played 4 more years with the Canucks before stints with the Panthers and the Rangers. On the ice for only 4 playoff games after leaving Vancouver.
Number 12, Cam Neely. Neely put up the best numbers of his career during the 89-90 regular season, scoring 55 goals and 92 points. That year, Boston lost for the second time in 3 years in the Cup final. The Bruins failed to make it through the conference finals between 1991 and Neely's retirement in 1996. He finished his career with 89 points in 93 playoff games.
Number 11, Peter Stastny.
Here's Stastny, shoots, he scored! Peter Stastny.
In playoff runs with the Nordiques, Devils, and Blues, he never made it through to the division or conference finals. Winner of the Calder Trophy in his first year in the NHL, Stastny went on to play in 15 regular seasons and 12 postseasons. He was selected to play in 6 All-Star games, and his career shooting percentage of 19.0, well, it puts him at 17th on the all-time list.
Number 10, Borje Salming. They called him the King, but 12 postseason runs with the Toronto Maple Leafs weren't enough to get Borje Salming a Stanley Cup.
Borje Salming, who
Playing 16 years of his career in Toronto before retiring after his single year in Detroit, Salming put together a Hall of Fame career that saw him inducted in 1996.
Great timing by Borje Salming on that play.
Number 9, Tony Esposito. His brother Phil won 2 cups with the Bruins, but Tony Esposito went his entire Hall of Fame career without a ring. A 3-time winner of the Vezina Trophy, Esposito made all of his postseason appearances with the Blackhawks. When Chicago lost in 7 games to Montreal in the 1971 Stanley Cup Final, Esposito had the postseason's best goals against average with 2 shutouts in 18 games played.
Number 8, Daryl Sittler. Following 10 playoff runs with Toronto and 4 more between Philadelphia and Detroit, Sittler didn't have a single Stanley Cup final appearance to show for it. In a 15-year career, Sittler was selected to play in 4 All-Star games, and he currently sits in the top 50 for career goals scored.
right, the last one that goes in.
Beginning with the 1980 postseason, none of Sittler's teams won a playoff series, a run that lasted 6 years.
Number 7, Jarome Iginla. In his first 15 seasons with Calgary, Iginla and the Flames saw playoff action only 6 times. Iginla led the playoffs in goals during Calgary's 2004 Stanley Cup run that saw them lose to 7 to Tampa Bay.
Iginla with Omister on the right. Iginla in front. They score! It went off a skate. Jarome Iginla's bomb. 500 goals.
Currently in the first year of a 3-year contract in Colorado, Iginla already has career totals of 560 goals and 1,167 points. He also led the NHL in both categories during the 2001-02 season.
Number 6, Dale Hawerchuk. Hawerchuk started his career in Winnipeg, winning the Calder Trophy in his first of 9 seasons with the Jets. After stints in Buffalo and St. Louis, Hawerchuk finished his career in Philadelphia. His deepest playoff run came in his final NHL season, when the Flyers were swept by the Wings in the Stanley Cup Final.
Hawerchuk finishes remarkable play.
Despite a cup-free career, Hawerchuk was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2001. He finished his career with 1,409 points, placing him in the top 20 all-time.
Now, Dale Hawerchuk did win a few things in his career. Example, Canada Cup title, 1987.
Yep.
Perhaps the greatest hook that was never called, a Mario Lemieux's tourney winner in Game 3.
Awesome hook. Led to the 3-on-1. So we know what Dale Hawerchuk was thinking there. He was thinking, we need a goal. The question is, what were you thinking?
Stoppage and play for the broken skate. Gretzky, as the referee helped him a little bit to head towards the bench, but it's pathetic.
The last television break seemed like he was in the zone a little bit. Did you not realize there were other people out there?
2 for tripping. Joensuu here, Joensuu just kind of slips out of the way, and he goes right up over, and dangerous when you see how high his skates come in and go right up over top through everybody. Good job by Alexei to get right out there, though, and make the change.
No shot. Now the Kings with a chance to tie it up. And it deflected off a quick into the net.
Oh my God, I don't know if I've ever seen that. The puck is shot from the hash marks. It goes off. Now watch quick. He stumbles. He loses his stick, and then the puck goes off his blocker into the net.
Edler, chest scored. Way out is behind him. It's in. Alex Edler's just scored from center ice on a shot that hit the goalie in the chest, went over his head and into the net. It's 1-0.
We're going to take a quick break, but then we're going to get back to business, counting down the top 5. We're to the top 5 players who've never won a cup. And I'm thinking there's going to be a guy in there who scored at least 30 goals year after year after year after year. He always scored at least 30.
Ken Reid, he's such a tease. You're so good at that. All right, top 5 on the way. We're counting down the top 25 greatest players to never win a Stanley Cup.
Osmak, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's get to it. We're counting down the greatest players who've never won a Stanley Cup. It is time to reveal the top 5. They almost did it all in their careers, but they never won a Stanley Cup.
Okay, now the good news for one of the guys in the top 5, he still has a chance.
That's good.
You're saying there's a chance. He still has it. He can get himself off of this list and, of course, prevent repeats of this show in the future.
Number 5, Alex Ovechkin. Ovechkin is entering his 10th season in the NHL, and he's hoping he'll soon lose his place in this countdown. In a career spent entirely with the Capitals, Ovechkin began by winning the Calder Trophy during his first season, before moving on to win the Hart Trophy and the Ted Lindsay Award 3 times each. Topping the leaderboard for total goals in a season on 4 occasions. He has yet to see action in a Stanley Cup final.
Great stick-handling move, fires, he scores! Alex Ovechkin!
Mark that down as one of the plays of the week. What a dipsy-do inside the blue line laterally.
Number 4, Gilbert Perreault.
To his right and left.
In a 17-season career spent entirely in Buffalo, Perreault's Sabres made the playoffs 11 times. Buffalo advanced to the Stanley Cup final in Perreault's 5th year with the team, losing in 6 to Philadelphia. With 1,326 career points alongside a Calder Trophy in his rookie season, Perreault was inducted into the Hall of Fame as part of the class of 1990 and is the only player ever to wear the number 11 for the Sabres before they retired it in Perreault's honor.
Here's Perreault's shot scored! Beautiful shot by Perreault, beating Waugh. Career goal number 503 for Gilbert. He just blasted it from outside the rim of the circle.
Number 3, Rod Gilbert. Gilbert played through extensive back issues to put together his Hall of Fame career, but winning a Stanley Cup was never in the cards. Over 18 seasons with the New York Rangers, Gilbert set a number of team records and finished his career with 1,021 points.
During the Rangers' 1972 Stanley Cup run, Gilbert registered 15 points over 16 games before the Rangers lost to the Bruins in the final. His number 7 was the first jersey number ever retired by the New York Rangers.
Number 2, Mike Gartner. After 19 seasons in the NHL and 122 playoff games, Mike Gartner doesn't have so much as an appearance in the final to show for it. In a career spanning 5 NHL teams, Gartner was selected to play in 7 NHL All-Star games and scored 708 goals.
That's good for 6th place on the all-time list. Originally part of the 1993-94 New York Rangers team that went on to win the Stanley Cup, Gartner was traded to Toronto on March 21st, 1994, shortly before the NHL trade deadline.
Number 600 for Mike Gartner.
Number 1, Marcel Dionne. Despite an incredible NHL career that lasted 18 regular seasons, Dionne never stepped onto the ice during the final round of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Dionne started his career with 4 seasons in Detroit, but his best years saw him tallying 550 goals and 757 assists for the LA Kings. On his way to a career points total of 1,771. That was good for 5th all-time. He was twice voted the most outstanding player by fellow NHLers and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1992.
Marcel Dionne never won a cup. You know what? When Dionne was going and Rogie Vachon was going in the mid-70s for the Kings, they had some solid teams. Big problem, though, the Philadelphia Flyers and the Montreal Canadiens. But Marcel Dionne at number 1. Cannot argue with that. I dare you.
Maybe some people would like to accept your challenge.
Maybe.
They would like to dare because it's a great game. If you don't agree with us, that's cool. This is your chance to challenge us.
Yeah, you can tweet us using hashtag SN Countdown or log on to sportsnet.ca and make your feelings known.
We'd appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did. And of course, we'll see you next time. I'm Evanka Osmak.
I'm Ken Reid. See ya.